Tell me this, how do you actually know if your home is priced right? Not what Zillow says, and not what your neighbor thinks, and not what an agent tells you over the phone in a 15-minute conversation without ever pulling a single comparable. If you're a home seller in Killeen or anywhere in Central Texas thinking about listing, that question is the most important one that you'll answer before you put a sign in the yard. Get it right, and you'll go into your sale with my favorite word, leverage. Get it wrong, and you spend the next 2 or 3 months finding out why, one price reduction at a time. I don't want that for you. So today, I'm gonna show you exactly how pricing works, the real process, the math behind it, and the 4 tiers every home seller should understand before they commit to a number. Here's how I see this playing out. A seller is getting ready to list their home. They check Zillow and they remember that the house down the street sold for X number. And then they have an agent come through and give them another number. One number maybe with like a vague range or something like that. And they say, hey, I think we can get this. And the seller picks a price that feels right. And then the market tells them something different. The showing traffic is lighter than expected. Offers don't come in the first week or the second week. And then the agent calls and say, hey, we might need to drop our price. It's not just bad luck. This happens when pricing is based off of feelings and not the data. And in this market, with the inventory up nearly 6 times more than it was in 2022, and buyers who they know they have real options, you just cannot afford to go wrong. My name's Stephen Harris. I'm a real estate broker in Central Texas. I have almost 500 closings under my belt, almost $100 million in volume. Home pricing strategy is where I spend the most time with my home sellers than anywhere else in the process, because it's where money is either won or lost. Here's the real process and what it should actually look like for you. The foundation of any real home pricing strategy is comparable sales. These are homes like yours that have actually closed. All right, that's the key word. Not listed, not even pending, not what somebody is asking, but for what has actually closed in the last 90 days, and we can go out a little further if we need to, but also within a reasonable distance from yours, because certain areas don't count as the same market area. Now, this is the starting point. It's not Zillow. It is not what you paid plus the improvements that you put in. I've seen that over and over again. And also not what the market was doing in 2022 when everybody from California was moving to Texas. This is what buyers actually paid for similar homes recently in your market. The key word there is similar. A comp isn't just any home in your zip code. Okay, it needs to match yours in the ways that matter. Square footage, bathroom, bedroom count, lot size, neighborhood, build quality. The closer the match, the more reliable the data, because all of this stuff is just patterns. And if we find a good pattern, then we can use that to set up our strategy. So when I pull comps, I'm usually working with 3 to 5 sales. If I have a little less, then I'll just use 1 or 2, because as long as there's a solid pattern, then I know I'm going to be good. And I'm not just looking at the price. I'm looking at the price per square foot, because that number lets me compare homes that aren't identical. And then I can kind of draw a clean conclusion based on that. Here's what that looks like in practice. Let's say I pull 3 comps. One sold for $142 a square foot, one sold for $149 a square foot, and one for $138. Now, I've got a pretty solid range, right? I've got this $138 to $149 and like a midpoint right around $143 a square foot. That is my starting place for your home before any adjustments. So that range is what the market is actually paying for homes like yours right now. Everything else is just a number somebody typed in on an app. Now, here's where most of the online estimates tend to fall apart, and where a real pricing conversation earns its keep. Your home is not the same as the comps. It might have an extra garage bay, or it might have a pool or an updated kitchen. It might back up to a busy road or to a green belt. The roof could be 10 years old or brand new, and the layout might not flow as well as the comp that's sold at the top of the price range. Every one of these things affects the value, and a real home pricing strategy accounts for all of them. The rule is simple. If your home has something that a comp doesn't, we add value. If the comp has something that your home doesn't, we subtract. That's it. And we're always adjusting towards your home. If the comp that sold for $142 a square foot had a 2-car garage and your home has a 3-car garage, I'm gonna add something like maybe $5,000 or $8,000 depending on what buyers are paying in that market right now. Or like if the comp had a pool and yours doesn't, then I'm gonna subtract the value of the pool. This isn't an exact science. This is where experience matters. Someone who's closed almost 500 deals in this specific market knows what buyers are paying premiums for right now. That knowledge is in the adjustment. So after the adjustments, I land on a price per square foot range that's specific to your home. Multiply that by the square footage and I get a realistic value range. And that's usually gonna be a $20,000 to $30,000 range. That's kind of where we work to find your perfect price. I recently sold a home for a couple in my very own neighborhood, and they thought that their proximity to the amenity center and swimming pool and playgrounds was worth $50,000. But when I actually pulled comparable sales, they only got about $15K. And an appraiser is gonna do something different. That's why we make these adjustments ahead of time, because the appraiser will always bring us back down to earth. And at the end of the day, that's the person that we gotta satisfy. So the adjustments are where the pricing conversation gets honest. So once we make the adjustments, here's where most agents stop. They show you the comps, they give you a number, and they say, this is what your house is worth. I do something different. I give every home seller who trusts me with the sale of their home 4 different tiers. And I show you the net proceeds at each one, because the question isn't just like, what's my home worth? It's what strategy do I want to run? And what does each one actually pay me at the end of the day? Those are different questions. So here are the 4 tiers and how I break them down. Tier 1 is gonna be fast market. This is the bottom of the realistic range, below what most comparable homes are listed at. On a home with a value range of like $430 to $460, this might be $425 to $430, just all depends, right? Why would you go that low? It's because you want the maximum attention from day one. Buyers who are comparing homes see yours as the obvious value, and so you're gonna get more showings, which means you get more offers, and when you have competing offers, you get my favorite word, leverage, right? And that's often gonna push the final number up above where you actually listed. So now I'm a conservative pricer, and this is usually where I recommend starting if having a clean transaction and a strong negotiating position matter more than squeezing every single dollar out. Now let's talk about tier 2. This is gonna be market value. This is the middle of the range. This is where the data says that a well-prepared, well-marketed home belongs. On our same example, somewhere between that 440 to 448 range. And this is the most common starting point. You priced with the market. You're gonna attract serious buyers, and you're not leaving any obvious money on the table, but you're also not testing anything with this price either. Now, I'm gonna do tier 3, and that is starting to push the ceiling. It's top of the range or slightly above it. So on our example, this would be more like 455 to 460. This works when your home genuinely has something that the comparables don't, like a better finish level or a larger lot and a meaningful view, something real and specific that a buyer can point to and say, that's why this one is worth more. If you can justify it with data, buyers can justify it with an offer. Now the risk here is time. You may be getting your price, but you may also sit for 45 to 60 days and end up back at tier 2, but now your days on market is kind of working against you. Now I'm gonna go into tier 4, everybody's favorite. We call this aspirational pricing. Like, this is above the comps and above what the market data supports, and this is the highest risk for an appraisal issue. This is the number that a seller wants, not the number that the math supports. And I've got a couple listings around this range. I show it because a seller asks for it, but I'll be direct when I land here. Like, the data does not support it. And here's what it typically costs you. Stale listing, price reductions that start to signal desperation to a home buyer, and then they use your days on market as a negotiating tool against you. And then that final number that's often lower than if you would have started at tier 1 or 2, because you also give up a ton of concessions as well. So the easy formula is the higher the price, the longer it sits. And the longer it sits, the more you give away. That's the pattern that I've watched repeat itself over and over again, especially in this market. So here's the thing that trips up sellers more than anything else in this conversation. A lower list price is not a lower sale price. When you price your home where serious buyers compete, you create leverage, and leverage is how you get more. Not just a higher number, but a cleaner offer, fewer concessions, less inspection drama, and a buyer who is motivated and excited because they found the right home at a price that makes sense. That is way more valuable these days than I can stress to you. The math on this outcome almost always beats the math on an overpriced listing that sits for 60 days and takes 2 price reductions and still gives up $10,000 in concessions after a difficult inspection. Same house, different strategy. The difference in net proceeds can be $10,000 to $15,000 more, especially when we add in holding costs. There's a graphic that I built for the days on market video where I show you this exact comparison side by side. 2 sellers, same house, different opening price. So if you haven't seen that video, the link is here. But the short version is the seller who priced right from day 1 netted about $13,000 more than the one who priced to test the market. Net, not price. That should drive the decision. So one more thing before I wrap this up, and this is something that most sellers don't account for when they're building out their pricing strategy. Pricing and preparation are connected. You can't fully optimize one without the other. And here's what I mean. 2 homes, same floor plan, same neighborhood, same square footage. One shows well and it's maintained, updated flooring, clean landscaping, professional photos. The other has some work that needs to get done, old cruddy carpet in there, and the listing photos that look like they were taken at dusk on a cell phone. Now, that well-prepared home prices at tier 2 or 3, and they actually get there. The other one prices at tier 1 and still gets negotiated down because buyers see a list of problems and start making offers to account for that risk. Preparation is pricing. They're the same decision, okay? The next video covers exactly what's worth fixing before you list and what's not worth touching. I'll walk you through the specific repairs and updates that actually move value versus the ones that are just money out of your pocket with no return. That one is right here whenever you're ready. All right, here's where I land the plane. Pricing your home right is not about picking the highest number that you can defend. It's about choosing the strategy that puts the most money in your pocket at closing and the less stress, right? And that's gonna be based on what comparable sales support, and what your specific home has to offer also counts as well. And this is gonna be situational because not everyone's situation has the same requirements. I show every seller the math, 4 tiers, real net proceeds, and my honest recommendation. Then you make the call with full information in hand. That's the difference between going into your sale knowing what you're doing and going into your sale hoping that it works out. If you want to see what this looks like for your specific property, I'll build it for you absolutely free. Real comparable sales from your neighborhood right now, 4 pricing scenarios, and the net proceeds that you'll walk away with. I call this a home profit analysis. I'll also give you my honest read on where you should position your home. There's no pitches, no obligations, none of that, okay? I'll give you the real, and then I'll let you go about your way if that's what you choose to do. Just click the link in the description, tell me your address and a little bit about your house, and I'll have it back to you within a few days. I build these myself. So Sometimes it takes a little time. Link in the description. Now, if this video helped, like, subscribe, and do all the things that YouTube likes. I cover the Central Texas market with real data for home sellers in Killeen, Fort Hood, Pflugerville, Georgetown, Round Rock, Bell County, Travis County. All of that is my stomping ground, and I love it. And I love helping people maximize their profits in these markets, especially in this tough market that we're in right now. My name's Stephen Harris, and I'll see you on the next one.